Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be going through my boot collection that I have here. I'll also be trying to find some old photos like I did with my glove collection and show you some boots that I've worn from when I was younger. First pair that I'm going to show you is my latest pickup, and it is these. They are Adidas Copas 20.1s with in the silver colourway with a splash of lime green at the back. These are like my first Adidas purchase for, I want to say, a couple of years. Normally I do go for Nike. I just prefer the comfort that Nike has, and because I've worn Nike for so long, I wanted to stay with Nike and I didn't really want to venture out. I like the Adidas boots, I like the new Predators, and I really like the Copas. I found these for a really good price on Depop, so I thought I'd pull the trigger and get them just as another boot to wear over the summer, just so I don't ruin my other pair of firm ground boots throughout the summer, training on this hard ground and stuff. The Copas, yeah, really soft leather. They've got some padding on this front bit where they've got all the stitching. It's like padded all across there. The only thing where it's got like the collar there, it's really stiff. It's not like the Nike Tech Fit where it's a bit more flexible and moves a bit more. This is really stiff and really rigid across the ankles. So I've only worn these a couple of times and I haven't got used to it yet, just because I've been wearing Magistas and Tiempos for a while. The sizing on these is also a little bit strange. So these are a 10.5. I've got a 10.5 in some Nike Tiempos and they fit fine. These ones are a little bit tight on me, so I might have to try different insoles or something, or different methods just to try and stretch out that little bit more. But yeah, overall it's a great looking boot, I feel, especially different colourways. I think the all blacks of these would look really good on pitch. But yeah, latest pickup, Copa 20.1. My second newest pickup are the boots that I wear most of the time at the moment, and they are all black Nike Tiempos. These are the softest leather boots that I've ever felt. Honestly, it is amazing. Just really comfy. As I was saying with the Copas, they've got a Tech Fit collar just round it, just around the top, just around your ankles, so it gives it that little bit of like the lockdown feeling that you would get with Nike Magistas and stuff. So you get with these, not as much, but it's a little bit, and it is a really nice addition. I did have some Nike Tiempo 6s which didn't have it. They were really comfy anyway, but I feel like the addition of that Tech Fit collar does just add it so much. The tongue as well, whereas I think they've branded it as the Quad Fit collar. It's really nice, and it is nicer to have that go into the Tech Fit across the ankles instead of a traditional sort of leather collar that sort of moves around and stuff a bit more whilst you're playing. I would highly recommend Nike Tiempos to anyone that is wanting some new boots. Next boot, we'll stay with the Nike theme and we'll go for some soft grounds. I've got two pairs of Nike soft ground boots that I wear and sort of alternate between. The first ones I use Magista Obra 2s. They are the anti-clog versions as well, so I didn't really know too much about the anti-clog. I sort of read up a bit, I've seen some reviews on it as well. Decided to get a pair, got them in the winter. Obviously county league pitches, they are terrible, and Gold Mouse are notorious for not having grass in them past the first couple of months of the season, so having some anti-clogs and making sure that the mud isn't sticking to the bottom of my boot and it's not clogging up and I'm not heavy footed, I'm not going to slip over, is a massive thing for me. It does work really well, from my experience anyway. Yeah, Nike Magista is one of my favourite boots of all time. They're so comfy. I have had a couple of pairs of the first ones. I've got another pair here. This is my first and only pair of the 2s. I wasn't too sure of like the bobbles at the start, because obviously the Nike Magista ones had a slightly different toe box and instep. I wasn't too sure, but it is really nice. It just gives a nicer feel when you're kicking the ball. With these Nike Magistas, they were quite tight at the start, so I didn't want to wear them. But then after a few wears, obviously boots mould to your feet and it becomes really nice. The only thing I would say about the collar, because they changed the collar on the 2s from the 1s. The collars, when they get wet and muddy, they get really heavy, and it sort of starts to weigh the boot down. It is kind of a heavy boot anyway, and adding on top wet flying it and muddy flying it, it makes it a little bit heavier. So yeah, that's the only one thing I don't like about them, but apart from that, great boot, really like it. The other Nike soft ground that I was talking about are these Nike Phantom Visions. Again, anti-clogs. I got these at the same time that I got the Magistas. Funny story, so I bought these from Pro Direct Soccer because I was in the market. I was looking for some new studs. I wanted Nike and I wanted Either these or Magistas. I would have wanted Magista 1.0s, but they're the 2s. But yeah, so I've got these on ProDirect, and I found the Magista Obras on eBay, and I made a bid to someone, and he accepted it after I'd bought these, and I couldn't get out of buying them, so I ended up with 2 boots coming in the space of 2 days, and it kind of worked out for my collection because I really, really like them. I wear the Magistas more than my Phantom Visions. These are a size 11, and the sizing's a bit strange. I find at the start, and then they start to feel a little bit big. Now I put them on the other day, they actually feel like the right size again, so I think it's just going to be a thing of either getting like a bigger insole or maybe wearing 2 pairs of socks with it. But it's a really, really nice boot. It was really, really comfortable. The only thing with this boot, it was like the first time that they had tried it with this material that's on top, it was a little bit tight, and round around the toe box area where it like creases, you can see it's like starting to rip. And I've worn these like for 3 games maximum, I think 3 or 4, and yeah, it's starting to rip. The way sort of like I drag my feet when I get into a set position, or if it's something from like a kick or a save. But yeah, it's one of the reasons it's sort of put me off from wearing them, because I don't want to rip them anymore, because I do really like this boot. So maybe something that I look to get like another pair, or maybe in a firm ground to see if it does it in that as well. Nike Phantom Vision, really nice boot as well. The only other soft grounds I have are a classic Nike boot, and it is the Nike CTR 360s. Boom, here we go. These ones, these are one of the most classic colorways and silhouettes of a Nike boot that I think if anyone says like a Nike CTR 360, I think this is the colorway that comes to mind. Again, soft boot is I believe it's a pro sole plate when it's only 6 studs. Again, I got these really, really cheap. I got them off eBay for 20 quid. Some guy didn't want them. He did say that they were breaking a little bit, and I was like, oh, can't be that bad. Now I got them. Then yeah, you can sort of see it there. It's sort of coming away quite a bit, which makes it really difficult to play in them. I've only trained in them twice, and on the other boot as well, it's happening. It's really depressing because these are such a nice boot. Like the leather's really nice. It's not as soft as the new Tiempos, but it is a really, really nice leather. It is really comfortable boot to wear. Such a classic boot that, because I love Nike so much, I wanted these in my collection when I saw them. So I'm happy that I've got them. A bit annoyed that I can't wear them because I don't want to break them too much, but things like that happen sometimes. I'm just happy that I've got these in the collection. So I've got one more Nike boot to show you, and it is one of my favourite boots of all time. It is the most comfortable one. I've worn it for 3 or 4 years now. Silhouette of a boot that I just really, really like. It is the Magista Obra 1.0. Just this boot, it was so revolutionary for its time, coming out of the 2014 World Cup. Mario Götze scoring the World Cup winning goal in a Magista with the very first ever colourway. I can play the clip. I'll roll it now.
Still full of running, and here's Götze!
As you can see, this boot has gone through the absolute war. Just tears and rips everywhere, all over that protective layer. The ACC layer, I believe it is, just above the Flyknit. But I think it just shows you like what use I've got out of these boots. I think I picked them up in 2017, so it's 3 years that I've worn them. Like, I wore it all the time on 3G during pre-season. Like, studs are starting to wear down quite a bit. The collar for me is what makes it so comfortable. Forgetting like the Flyknit on the like, all over the boot to start with, just the collar itself, so much more stability. Like when I'm moving across the goal, when I'm trying to get into a set position, it just sort of helps my ankle stay a little bit still. I'm not saying it's like when you wear a splint on your wrist and it keeps it like really, really still. It just gives you that, just provides you that extra little bit of support. I don't know if it's sort of like a mental thing where you think, oh yeah, something's there, so it's helping me a bit. But yeah, for me, it makes it feel a lot safer. And then it just like the Flyknit all over the boot just makes it so comfortable when you're kicking, passing, just sort of even running. And from a keeper, that is something that you will never hear me say is I enjoy running. So because I hate running. I think it's the worst pastime and the worst thing you can do in pre-season. So but yeah, so like wearing these for 3 years, definitely got my use out of them. I'm surprised the sole plate hasn't snapped. It snapped on my black one, so I thought I still had them. Apparently not. But yeah, it snapped all across here, like where the toe box crease and stuff, so I couldn't really wear it, because when I started wearing it on 3G, it would open when I'd crease and then close. Obviously, like when I plant my foot, and then it would start grabbing the bits of the synthetic, so it's not really what you want when you're playing on a nice 3G pitch. So yeah, but yeah, last Nike boot, Nike Gista, my favourite boot that I've worn throughout these past few years, for sure, 100%. So I've got 4 more pairs left in my collection that is here. 3 of them are Adidas boots, and then one of them is an odd Puma boot, which I do regret buying massively. So we'll go with that one first. And it's these. They are Puma Evo Speed 1.2s. They are the most uncomfortable boot that I have ever worn. They are really, really light. I will give them that. They are one of the lightest boots that I've had. Lightest boots that I've worn, but they are just so uncomfortable. Like, it is so rigid around the ankle. I'm surprised my ankles didn't bleed. I'm surprised my heel didn't bleed with them. There's no flex whatsoever, apart from that top bit of the toe box. No flex whatsoever in the sole plate. Like, it's just not a great boot. Obviously, one white and one black. The white boot I wore these at training at uni on the muddy pitch, obviously, because what else am I gonna do? And it ruined the laces first kick of a ball. It was just so pointless. I'm happy I didn't pay full price fees. I got these on Feminem Direct for 20 quid, I think it was 25 quid when they were going on sale. I think they're still on Pro Direct because no one wants these Evo Speeds. They have, obviously Puma have upped their game massively with the Futures and the Puma ones. They both look like really, really nice boots. Massive step on from these monstrosities that I have here. Really wouldn't recommend buying these, so these can just go over there. The oldest ones in my Adidas collection here are these ones. Some Adidas F50s, classic boot. Luka Milivojevic actually wore this pair that I have here, but this same colourway a couple of weeks ago in the Premier League, and they just looked so good. It was so refreshing to see these boots back. Unlike the Puma Evo Speeds, these actually have a lot of give in them, the collar around the heel and stuff, so it feels much nicer. There's a lot more, there's sort of a bit more flex, as you can see. Like, it's higher up on the toe box, so it doesn't feel so stiff on your toes and on the ball of your feet. These are probably some of my favourite Adidas boots. I always wanted these in studs as well, but I prefer a lighter boot in the summer when the ground's a little bit harder. It's a little bit easier for my feet, and like the soles of my feet is such a horrible thing. It doesn't make my feet sweat as much wearing a lighter boot during the summer. Obviously, pre-season games and stuff, it can play in really hot weather. If you're playing on 3G, 4G as well, it makes it a lot worse for your feet when you've got heavier boots on and stuff. So I always prefer to wear a lighter boot in the summer. In the winter, I do prefer a slightly heavier boot, because it feels like I've got more stick on the ground, and that's why I go for like Magistas and boots like that, just because they're a little bit heavier. But yeah, 2014, these boots were made, so 6 years ago. I believe they were a Champions League edition colourway, and they were released for that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's when they were made for. So yeah, so 3 more Adidas boots, and then that is my collection done. These ones, Adidas X's 17.1s, I believe these were. These were the speed boots that the F50 evolved into, if you want to say it like that. They came with a higher heel collar, much stiffer than what the F50 was. They changed the material on the outside. I don't know what the material is, but it is definitely different. It's not I don't feel like it's as thin as what the F50s were. A little bit, pretty much the same way. I'd say these are slightly heavier, the X's and the F50s. These were an okay boot for me to wear. I liked them when the pitches were flat and there was grass on them. I wasn't a fan of them when it was a bit harder, a bit bobbly. I wasn't used to like the stud pattern that was on these, so it started to hurt my feet a bit more. But I tried to, because they were hurting my feet, I tried to mod them a bit. I got rid of the insoles and I decided to cut the tongue, as I read online that the professionals were doing it. I read out why they were doing it. It was to try and help alleviate the tightness that it was putting on the top of their foot. So I thought that would help me out as well. It didn't. I ruined the boot, so again, they can go with the Pumas and they can just go over there. Second to last pair of boots, again ASXs. These were the ones before those 17.1 ones, 15.1 ones I think these were. So these are the direct ones from the F50s. Didn't wear them for a long time because they were really uncomfortable because of that seam going right down there across the instep. It really hurt my foot after wearing them on like hard surfaces. It always seems to be hard surfaces with Adidas boots. I just can't seem to get used to the stud pattern and can't get used to like the materials that they're wearing. These are a lot stiffer than F50s and the 17.1s or 16.1s and stuff like that. Once I started getting used to them, and I was wearing them on 3Gs, and 3Gs was fine. It was just grass pitches, really hard grass pitches, that I couldn't wear them. Getting used to them on 3Gs, they were really comfortable and I started to really enjoy them. I want to get a different pair, maybe a 16.1 to see if it's any different, see if I can get along with it. Final Adidas boot, they are Aces. A 16.1 these are actually. Personalised as well, PW13. If I could choose my squad number would be 13. I know it's unlucky for some people, but for me, it just works and I like wearing 13. Really great boot. It was the first boot that I'd ever had personalised as well. And I got these to match the AS gloves. If you go and watch my glove collection video, put the link up there to go and watch my glove video, and I talk about matching my gloves with my boots, which I did with these and I'm doing now with my Nike gloves as well. But these were a great boot, really comfortable. They were, I guess with the collar, they were trying to mimic how Nike had the Magista, so they put an Adidas Flyknit collar on. It is really comfortable. The tongue as well had the same material going down it, make it a little more comfortable. Really great boot, really comfortable. Prefer the highs to the lows, I think, because of the material that they're using. I feel like the high ones are better, the low ones, they're okay, just not for me. I prefer having the collar on there as well. That is my boot collection, guys. I will be upgrading my collection very soon. I have got a mystery box of football boots coming in from boots.plug on Instagram, so I will get that and I'll make the video and add them to my collection, so stay tuned for that. If you like the video, leave a like rating on it, click the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.